Welcome back to week 2 of the therapy session. This week we'll talk about your Florida Gators going into Baton Rouge. My bad. Go ahead.
It's hard to even say yo, everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's podcast. It's like I don't even want to be here. No, it's cool. Here's my new team right here. Repping them up. Let's go, baby. I'm trying to maybe give a curse or something.
I'm trying to say, don't jinx this.
Like Haiti was like, "Are you really wearing that?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm. Let's go." Trying to get some of that LSU voodoo going here or something. I don't know.
I hope that's the shot when you post this on Facebook. You throwing up the U. Yeah, that'd be fun. I don't know how it does it.
I know it randomly does it, so I'll do this to see. But anyway, not a good performance from the Florida Gators Saturday night for sure. Or in one, yeah. I mean, like I say, listen to what Billy says.
Don't get me wrong, it's a team.
Listen to what Billy says. You played 3 games and you only given up 2 touchdowns. If I were to tell you that stat, like, hey, Faro, we're 3 games into the season, and Florida's only giving up 14 points. You'd be like, damn, you guys are 3-0 and in the top 5.
I'm thinking 2019 LSU. I'm thinking early 2000s USC. Even the Gators with Tebow. You're thinking about the games back in the 90s and early 2000s when teams were, if you're only giving up 2 touchdowns outside of Iowa and Minnesota and teams like that, you're thinking you guys got to be 200 points for the year.
Yeah, it's kind of wild in a sense too, and the game just went so weird too. Like I say, the Gators came out and that I'm throwing my banner up here. Let's see, which one should I throw? There's 2 of them. I got this one here, and I got this one here. So we'll go with this one to start it off.
Yeah.
So
you start the game and you drive down the field, but the problem's been with the Gator offense is putting it in the end zone.
Yeah, definitely. We've been driving down, but then when we get kind of close to the red, having to settle for 3 is not going to win you games against big time opponents. Coming away with points is good, but when you want to win games on the road at LSU, at Miami, at home versus Texas, teams like that, you got to get touchdowns. You can't settle for 3 all the time. And it was a good opening drive that you got the ball and got points on the board. So what were you going to do to counter that? And the big play where they hit ball, busted coverage, that was killer, man. I mean, it was like just one of those plays where you're like, gets butt naked wide open and you're thinking, all right, this thing's 10-0. We're cooking now. And then just after that, we couldn't do anything for the first half, man. And
I think also self-inflicting wounds. I mean, if you look at the 3 games total, you look at the South Florida game, you get down in the red zone, then you get a holding call. Then you get communication between DJ and the wide receiver, offensive pass interference, and you go down the list, or you got a guy going the wrong way, offensive lineman's holding. He can't, that's what it's been the first 3 weeks. And then watching this game, like you say, you got to tip your cap to the defense. The defense, I thought, did a really good job. I mean, LSU's offense hasn't been really firing this year, but guess what? That's not the Florida defense's fault. They're supposed to come out and do their job. I mean, theoretically, they held LSU to 13 points.
Yeah, no, that's why Kelly's been a little bit under the gun there. He had his press conference where they're like, what's wrong with the offense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you think about that too.
To win games.
Exactly.
I see both sides. I see why the reporter asked the question, and I also see.
Well, I guess this is the question too. Is when I look at LSU just after their 3 games, yes, they have 2 nice wins against Clemson and Florida, who kind of are 2 teams who have 4 losses now between the 2 of them.
Yeah.
And then they beat Louisiana Tech, so it's like LSU for all intents and purposes. That's what you do. You play to win the game. But you're like, okay, you look at the schedule here and you're like, all right, they got Ole Miss coming down. They got Vandy. We'll throw Vandy in there. They got A&M. They got Bama. They got Oklahoma down the stretch.
They better figure that offense out quick.
That's what I'm saying. To me, this team is going to lose a couple games. That's just how I feel offensively.
Yeah.
I feel like they're kind of challenged. Now, they got a really good defense, and obviously it was on full display for, they were doing a lot of things to confuse DJ. And what's crazy is, I keep just thinking back. I'm like, okay, why is this happening? And it's a multitude of reasons. Obviously, everybody's talked about how he missed all the reps
spring,
from spring to basically from the bowl game till he missed all the
fall
spring
camp.
stuff. He was out with the calf injury. That hasn't done a lot of 11-on-11. Yes, sir, you've done mental reps, but you haven't been throwing with the guys. Yada 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 yada. I totally get that, and that's fine. I think more so too of watching back on some of those throws, and even going back to the USF game and even the first game. Like, I feel like his mechanics suck. Like,
well, that, and it feels like he's trying to be perfect when he's throwing the ball. He's trying to be pretty and perfect, and his mechanics do suck.
Yes, I'm like, dude, your footwork's bad. Like the very first interception where he actually read the coverage right. It looked like they were in some sort of like cover 6. So he read the cover 2 side where they actually had like a hitch in a corner route, the classic, high low, and he read it right, and the corner was open. You had to throw a pretty decent ball, but you throw it to the spot, old school Gators, under Spurrier, teaching Danny those guys, you throw it to that spot where the guy catches it running out of bounds. Instead, he's like he's got his feet funny, and he doesn't put anything on it, and it's underthrown, easily picked off ball, and you're just like, okay, that was just a bad ball, but it was contributed to all of your other stuff, and then again, you're playing
your body.
Totally, that was bad too. But like, as I was sitting there, I was watching the game with Haiti, and I'm like, all right, this thing's, tight game, right before the half. I'm like, let's just not do anything. It was like one of those moments of like, and this is damned if you do, damned if you don't, because everybody's complaining if you got time on the clock, like be aggressive, try to go down and get some points, whatever. And instead, you're a little ultra aggressive. You throw a bad ball, you get picked, returns back, sets them up for a free field goal, tie the ball game up at halftime. So now you're like, all right, fine. The game's 10-10. You're like, it is what it is. Wasn't pretty, it was actually 13. They took the lead. They took the lead 13-10 when when the game should have been 10-10 is what I meant.
Yeah.
And, so then you come out in the second half, and you get a couple big plays. You set yourself up in midfield, and all of a sudden you find yourself behind the chains big time, 3rd and 18. I'm like, dude, it was almost like one of those, the way this game is going, and we've talked about this, you're in that defensive game where, all right, just trade punts, just trade field position, set up for better field position.
Run the football.
3rd and 18, there's no good play for 3rd and 18. I don't care. There's not. So
just throw a screen.
And especially if you're at midfield where you're going to try to pin them and play, make them drive 90, make them drive 80. Instead you force one house call, and you're like, you got to be kidding me, dude. And then like that was literally the nail in the coffin. And they got down a couple other times and had, again, decent plays, big plays here, big plays there. And then as soon as they got down inside the red, they're switching coverages up on them. DJ's throwing into triple coverage, nothing but white jerseys. And again, I can go on my Billy Napier rant back to last year's Texas. I'm officially off the Napier train. Done. Get him out of here. I'm over it. Like, I don't care if he run. Like, he's not going to run any table anytime. He ain't beating fucking Miami and Texas. And all. He's not. He might get one of these games here or there or whatever to make it look good, but forget about it. I don't want to see this damn same movie that we've seen for the last 4 years. It is literally like Groundhog Day, and like you thought that something was going to be different, but the way it ended last year to where they would springboard into this year, and the defense is picked up, but where's this freaking offense? Okay, so here's the other flip side of that. I'll let you talk. I'm almost done.
No, go ahead. I'd rather you go right ahead.
Yeah, the other flip side of this is the fact that what do we talk about? Okay, if DJ's hurt, if DJ's not playing well, if he hasn't had these reps, what are we going to rely on? What are we going to count on? Oh, we have this great offensive line. We've got these good backs. We're going to run the football. Jaden Ball's averaging 6.5 yards a carry right now. But guess what? He's only getting 12 damn carries a game. So it's like
10 game.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying, he's averaging 12 in the 3. So he's averaging 6.5 yards a tote, and he's only touching it like 10 to 12. I think he had 18 carries against USF.
Yeah, about right.
Why are we not running the ball more to not like DJ Lagway should not have to throw it 49 freaking times at LSU? That's just, it's not like we were down. You throw it 49 times when you're down like 21 and you're trying to chase points. And so, like I say, the flip side of that, is you obviously aren't leaning on the run when you should be if DJ's having these issues. And so, like, why are you doing that? And then the other one is like, Vernell's been your most explosive guy, but like, guess what? The other guy who's actually been pretty good in the little time that he gets is actually Mizell. Mizell only had like 6 or 7 snaps the other night and caught all of his balls and scored the freaking touchdown. Why is he not playing more? Like, the personnel groupings. I don't want to see. I know you can flip it and you can do multiple things when you have your tight ends in there. I hate double tight sets with us. Like, it's just like Hansen is not getting loose on anybody up the seam. Put freaking Mizell in there so he can get up the seam, blow the roof off. So again,
you got to stretch the field.
The combination of Billy's like I have a love-hate relationship with his offense because sometimes it is schemed up well.
When it's clicking, it's clicking.
It's too freaking basic. It's too predictable. It doesn't really suit a guy like DJ Lagway, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And you're not doing what you should be doing is relying on your ground game, which looks like it could be good. And you're basically wasting a great defense this year. And now I don't know when we're going to win a game. So go ahead. The floor is yours. I'm done because we ain't beating y'all this week for one. So yeah.
Well, I think it's possible he's hurt. And then in the LSU game, he took some shots when he was running the ball. If I'm LSU, if I'm any defensive coordinator, I'm telling my guys, if DJ's going to get out of the pocket and he's going to run, you hit him. So I think he took some shots. Like you said, I'm going to just reiterate what you're saying. They're not running the football, which don't brag that you got 2 All-Americans on your offensive line and 2 good backs. I truly expect them to run the ball this week, but we'll talk about this week in a few minutes. Yeah. But in this game, it was just bad. Like you say, the ill-advised throws, and you're just watching it and you're like, dude, what are you doing? And like you say, sometimes, you got to figure out what's going on in the game as an offensive coordinator and head coach and just say, both offenses stink. Our defenses are playing great. Like you said, punt the football. Let's see who puts who in the worst situation and try to capitalize off of it. Because who's to say, just say the pick 6, you punt, pin them deep, and Nussmeier makes a bad throw, and you can throw the football and get kind of like in the Georgia-Tennessee game where Tennessee gets a great opportunity to put the ball away because they pick off Stockton. No, it was a fumble. Sorry. There was a fumble in the 4th quarter where they recovered it almost in the red zone. They only got 3, but still 3 in this game. It reminds you of an old school SEC football game from back in the day to where it's just going to be a low scoring game. And I think coaches today just don't want to accept that, hey, if that's what we got to do, we got to play in the phone booth and get the W.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I say, it's one of those things of like, the defense was playing well all night. Even when we got Nuss, he screwed up and threw us a pick late in that game. I'm like, all right,
exactly.
Can we get this to a 1-score game? And we still couldn't do it. And it was just like, I'm like, yeah,
Dijon got great opportunities in the red zone.
Yeah, Dijon got that pick. It was still probably about 11, 12 minutes to go in that ball game. You could have cut it to a 1-score game and maybe made it a little hairy. But
even if you would have got 3, you're still down 7, and you're sitting there like, hey, we got a great opportunity because their offense hasn't did anything. But I feel like if you got Ball and Jackson, why aren't you running the ball? They should have 15 plus carries each.
Jacoby, I guess, he
only
had
7.
Yeah, he really. I mean, his statistic wise, he wasn't really getting it. Like I say, Ball had 10 for 46, and that's it.
Right.
Averaging, that's almost 5 yards a carry. That's basically half a first down every time he touches it.
Yeah, and you're depending on a true freshman. Not saying true freshmen can't come out there and ball, but VB3, and then your second leading receiver was Jaden Ball. And then your third leading receiver was your tight end. Like you say, Sturdivant hasn't did anything. Mizell, Trey Wilson, like what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, why APB? Like, why can't we get Trey Wilson schemed up? I don't understand.
And I think LSU did a great job of getting DJ on the move out of the pocket, even though sometimes it felt like he didn't have to.
Yeah, LSU
coming straight up the middle.
LSU's defense definitely. Blake Baker's made a big difference adding him. They were flying around. Perkins was all over the place. Pyburn was back there. Their secondary looked
Mhm.
really good. Like I say,
Does he know how to
LSU.
read? Does he know how to read defenses? Like,
That's more so the
well,
scary
see,
part of it.
and then that's what I said after the bowl game, and everybody just dismissed it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, they got the win, but this guy was
That's
throwing picks left and right.
yeah. That was more so of their scheme was we're dropping everybody into coverage, and
Yeah,
that's where if you're going to do that, then that's basically where you check out of that stuff and you run the ball, or
right.
you got to take some shots over the top if they're going to sit
But does
underneath
he have?
everything.
And then the other thing is, does he have the leeway to check plays and
Well,
get into a better play?
obviously he did that damn out route on the RPO against USF, but I
Yeah,
mean,
that was terrible. But that's
but
just
again,
giving you an option. I'm talking about,
yeah,
hey,
yeah, no,
we
I
call a
know,
run play and they got
I know,
7 people on the line of scrimmage. Can he check out to a
yeah.
better play?
What's crazy is watching some film guys, different film studies is you know talking about what he was doing on film the last 2 years is like, yeah, it looks like he's reading things right, but right now his processor is just slow. And like if you
Yeah,
go back and even look on some of those interceptions or some of those plays where they just didn't get, you know, hit plays downfield, there looked like there was plays to be made if he would have made the right read at,
yeah.
process it faster. And
And it's
that's
his first true road start as well.
and I mean that's that well, like I say, we talked about the road woes for Billy
Mhm.
and company and whatever. But yeah, it's I mean, he played in Knoxville last year, but he obviously didn't start the game, but
That's
so
what I'm
it's
saying, start,
yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, again, it, don't get me wrong. Practice definitely is important, and
Reps,
obviously,
reps,
obviously, right
reps,
now
reps.
is now. I'll never take it away that whoever the guy is, if he's not practicing or playing for a whole year, but you think about these guys. Like, what about what are guys doing who tear ACLs or torn Achilles and they can't really get out there and do stuff? Like I'm trying to think of the last quarterback who, I mean, there's probably been plenty of them who basically have had to sit, but I mean, I guess I don't know if it's for
But
that
it's
extended
experience.
time.
But it
I,
it comes back to experience. It's like no different than Carson. Carson didn't play in the spring. He
yeah,
missed a little bit in the fall, but once again, he has the reps and the
yeah, he's
experience.
played a long time. He's played a
For
lot.
him, it's more he was getting mental reps. You can't get mental reps if you've never been on the field to figure out how to play when you're in front of 100,000 people at LSU at night.
Yeah,
Those are the things like or South Florida where they're going to bring intensity. And like I say, I didn't think South Florida did a great job of pressuring him, and it still didn't look right. At the LIU game, when we watched it together, I said this doesn't look right.
yeah, it wasn't smooth.
All you hear people say, well, they put up 70. Yeah, you could put up 70. They played a high school team and it didn't
Yeah,
look good.
and they didn't put up 70; they only put up 55.
Or
So
whatever they
yeah,
put up. I don't
yes,
remember the
we
game,
ain't
but
scoring 70 like Tennessee and Florida State are
yeah.
against scrub
I
teams.
mean, can they figure it out? I think Billy just needs to say, you know
No,
what? Our strong suit on offense is running the football. We got two good backs. If we got to run them 20 times a game each and just rotate them in and just try to be
like
more creative
like I say,
off that
I,
running game because you ultimately Billy wants to run play action. He
yeah,
really wants to
no,
run play action,
for
but you
sure.
can't run play action if you can't run the football
Well,
or you don't.
here's the number one problem with that. Like, and we talked about this at the beginning of the year. There ain't no fucking get back game. There ain't no get right
Not,
game.
not the rest of the year.
There ain't no let's work on some stuff in this game. There's no
No.
there's no UCF this week. UCF. There's no Kentucky until way down the
Yeah.
line. There's not like so it's like let's just test some stuff out against Miami this week. No, you can't do that. So I mean, again, it just there's no positivity in sight for the
Yeah.
optimism that I had at the beginning of the year.
Let's hypothetically speaking, even if they win this weekend, which I
Mhm.
think they could, I'm not saying they're going to win.
Yeah.
They still have enough talent to win.
Yeah, there's capability there.
There's capability. If they win, you still don't feel confident the rest of the way.
No, no, not at all. That's what I'm saying.
You
Like,
still say we can't move the ball, we can't score.
that's what I'm
We got
saying.
to play that Georgia defense, the Tennessee
Yeah,
defense, Texas,
we got to play
whatever.
their offenses. Like,
Yeah.
no, trust. Like going to A&M in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Like,
I forgot
like
about that. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
that's the thing, and it's like, when do you hit the panic button? It's almost at that time, not the panic button, but the eject button, like Virginia Tech and UCLA.
Yeah, well, I think they're usually, the bye week is usually when you do stuff, and that's
Well,
basically after. That's
the other
before the Texas game. It's
so
before
the
the Texas.
other thing the
But I
other
don't think
thing
they're
you
gonna do. I don't think they're gonna do it that quick.
so the other thing you have to factor in now in today's college football, this is the fourth game. How many guys are going to be like, this coach is about to be out the door? I, I could save a year in redshirt and not go through this. Because remember that was a rumor about Trey Wilson last year. He
Right.
was going to redshirt and transfer. And
Mm-hmm.
then you see the tweets by former player Shannon Snell that's saying guys don't like DJ.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what's true? What's coming out of
Yeah,
if
like I
he's
said, I don't.
saying he's telling the truth. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. No, and I don't doubt that. And like I was talking about this to Dave the other day, and it was more so. There's always that envy of like guys in the locker room
100%. Yeah,
to the guys who get special treatment,
yeah.
and we know it. Like we've been on teams, like
Mhm,
there's player or coaches favorites,
mhm.
and usually sometimes it's the quarterback, obviously.
But
So
when
I
you're
mean,
not winning, it
is
gets bigger. It becomes a bigger
trust
cancer.
is there well, that's what I'm saying. If you're winning games, it's not a problem,
Yeah,
so how much animosity is on this team, and then like you say, a lot of times you do get some of that offense versus defense where you're like, man, we're picking
yeah,
up our end of the deal, like what are y'all doing over there, and
yeah.
then you get that divide. So don't get me wrong, there's probably definitely is guys on the team who probably are like, screw DJ, he's getting all this high. I mean,
Well, we'll find
you know
out player-wise in the next week or 2 of guys saying when they start shutting it down and say, "I'm
right,
gonna
totally,
redshirt."
totally, and
We're
like
gonna find out.
that'll be an interesting thing to monitor
Once
for
you
sure.
see certain guys that are not freshmen that are contributors saying, "Hey, I'm not playing. I'm sitting out the rest of the year," or come in with the Jalen Ramsey type injury, or my back hurts or hamstring, and then it's like he may have lost his team.
Yeah, and like I say, I think um, again, if I'm
I
looking
hope
at
that
it.
I hope that's the shot that they.
Hmm,
Yeah,
hmm.
he's
when
struggling.
I look at the schedule, I would expect him to get canned before maybe it'd be after Georgia,
Who's the
because
next 4?
Miami, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Georgia,
Is there a
and
bye week
so
in there?
yeah, there's 2 bye weeks in there. There's a bye week in between this week. We don't play next week.
Okay.
There's a bye before we play Texas. So we lose Miami, Texas, and at A&M. That's basically 5
And
straight
then the bye
losses.
week before the Georgia game?
Well, you still got Mississippi State in there, so maybe you win that one, right? So you're 2 and
Maybe.
5. I'm saying maybe.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, that's a home game. Maybe they get off the mat and win that one.
Mhm.
So that'd be what, 2 and 5. Um, yeah, they'd be 2 and 5 at that point, and then you get blasted in Jacksonville by Georgia to go 2 and 6. Fire them then, you know, and just let them enter them
Well,
out
it
for.
definitely depends on how it looks the next couple weeks because
Yeah,
if
like, it's
defensively they're
like
still playing good and
I was looking at
offensively
like
doing
I said,
anything,
the 2 easy games left on the schedule is at home versus Mississippi State, in between A&M and Georgia.
and then
And
Kentucky,
then you got to go to BBN where we don't play well at,
yeah. Aren't you
and
glad
then
Vandy's not on the
to
schedule?
close out the year, you play at number 13 Ole Miss, Tennessee at home is number 15, and the fast risers, this Florida State Seminoles at number 7. That's crazy, man. That is
Oh man, this is gonna be
ooh,
great. This is gonna
that
be
is
great.
that is wild. It's just crazy how like
It just turns on you.
it is like 180,
It
like it
turns on you
literally,
quick.
I mean, like 4 weeks, 5 weeks ago, before the season started,
Yeah.
all these questions of like, what's Florida State going to look like? And, high expectations for the Gators, and you got
Notre
this,
Dame.
and you got that. And yeah, I mean, Notre Dame's schedule's way easier than this, though. That's the
I
thing.
know, but
Clemson,
you still start off 0-2.
Clemson schedule way easier than what we got. So
Yeah.
like those teams are going to be able to win, you know, 7, 8
Mhm.
games, still 9 games.
Yeah. Right
That's
now, realistically, I guess on the good side, if you're a Florida fan, you're hoping for 7.
7 what?
7 wins. You're hoping. I said hope for 7.
Well, you remember we
All
went back.
right.
You remember what we said, the preview, the very
Yeah.
first. We said what is worst and best case scenario. I think I said worst case scenario was something like 4 or 5 wins.
Yeah.
You know,
As long as you don't go 2-10. If you guys go
yeah,
2-10, boy.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're literally Florida State. We switched spots with them. We
Yep.
traded, except we weren't number 7 before, so they've
Yep.
accelerated. They've hit the accelerator. Mike Norvell, he's the greatest coach, man. Hire Mike
Not,
Norvell.
and then to even tack on more BS was before the game with the coaches, with the players. One
Right.
of the former LSU coaches, that's
Yeah.
the running backs coach, I think
Yeah.
at
Jabbar,
Florida,
Jalute.
and you're getting caught up in this. So now you're missing 2 coaches for the next 3 games.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Like, are we running a circus down here in Gainesville or down there in Gainesville?
Might be.
I,
Like I
I
said,
mean, it's just bad. And at some point, Billy has to be like, you know what? I need to hand over the play calling.
it's
But
too
can
late,
he
man.
do? But he can't this week because your running backs coach out. So now
It's
you're
not even
down a
that.
coach.
Well, he's not calling, like, Russ Callaway is the other guy who would call plays.
No, but I'm just saying, but it still
Yeah,
puts you
yeah.
in a position to where you're like,
Dude, it's over. It doesn't
can I
matter.
add more to someone
I'm
else's
telling
plate?
you, he is for real dead, man. It's over.
Man,
It's over.
I feel like you're doing the Lou
Uh,
Holtz right now.
no. What I'm saying is his job is over. Like,
Once again,
I think we still win some games.
yeah.
You can. What realistic world would you keep him as your coach to run the table?
Shit, I would have fired him last year.
Well, dude, that's what I said. I wanted to fire him last year too, but guess what? You know, they didn't, and
Yeah.
now my number 1 candidate seems losing, so we're good there.
Mm-hmm.
And my number 2 candidate, who knows? He still
No,
might be
I
interested.
thought the other guy was your number 1.
Marcus Freeman is my number 1 candidate.
And then Lane is your number 2.
Lane is my number 2. And then my number 3 candidate is Dillingham. That's where I'm at,
Hey,
dog.
it ain't looking pretty out there for him. So
yeah, but the problem with that is, I mean, he's a Arizona lifer. He's from,
yeah,
all that. So I don't know if he might love it there and might not want to leave.
yeah.
So that's my short list right now. I mean, obviously, there's pipe
It'll
dreams out
change.
there.
Yeah, it'll change.
No, but I mean, word on the street was Freeman was actually interested last year. He reached out in the event of if Napier got fired, he was interested. Like, Freeman's people put that out there. So yeah, give me Marcus Freeman, dude. Like, I know they're struggling with Notre Dame, but give me that guy. Like, at least he's got
he's a strong recruiter. He's gonna bring good. He's gonna bring the intensity, the energy. It just goes down to who does he bring in as offense and defensive coordinators and whatnot.
He's going to hire
for any coach,
but he's going to hire somebody, and he's not going to run. He's not going to call the plays on offense.
And then not. I say this, people will probably get mad. Like I'm taking a shot at Florida. The academic standards at Florida are not to the level of Notre Dame. Even Florida's academic standards are high, but Notre Dame's are through the roof high.
No, for sure.
So he's going to get a little. If just say he became the Florida coach, he'll have a little bit more wiggle room to bring guys in to where
is Gainesville ready for a black head coach? Let's go, baby. Bring them on.
I'm not touching that subject.
Hey, we got black quarterbacks now, so they always said that was never going to happen. So let's give me that African American coach down in Gainesville, baby. Give me
down at Hard Rock Stadium this past Saturday, you had UCF come in to play the Miami Hurricanes. I thought the Canes came out pretty fast and did a great job of slowing down that UCF offense the first couple drives.
F, not UC.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you're getting Orlando. You're getting Orlando love.
Yeah, my bad. USF. I think the Canes did a pretty good job on defense to start the game off before the long rain delay to jump up 14-3, and then they kept the intensity. That was great to see the crowd. They stayed after the rain delay. It was like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and
that lost me. I couldn't watch any of that game. I watched the beginning, and I was
because by the time they came back, the Florida game was about to start.
Well, on top of that too, that damn Georgia-Tennessee game was unreal.
Exactly. Well, that kind of helped with it being in a rain delay to kind of watch that. I had two screens up.
Totally.
The Canes came out 14-3. UCF had some opportunities, and we did the bend but don't break down in the red zone. Defense was flying around. They gave up a couple big plays, couple big pass plays, but they settled in. USF didn't score a touchdown until basically the fourth quarter. I think the offense looked pretty good. We still hit a little lull that we've been hitting the last 2-3 weeks where we'll go like 3-4 possessions where we're not moving the ball and we got a punt. I think Carson did a great job. He ran the ball a little bit. It was a little scary because he took a couple shots when he was pulling on that read and down in the red zone. He scored one. He didn't get in on two, but he took some shots. But I think overall, I think the Canes did a great job. I'm curious to see also, how does Florida protect DJ? Because I don't know, you probably haven't seen it. What the Canes have been doing is leaving basically Ruben Bain by himself on one of the tackles, and the other three guys are from the center over, and it's making teams decide, what do you want to do? Do you want to still double him, leave someone in? And him and Mesidor have been playing out of their minds right now.
No, I don't.
We're not going to 3 games.
We're not going to be able to block that jump. No way. Like I'm very, very fearful of both of those guys. Like they're killing it right now.
Yeah, so, right now they're hot. Everyone's healthy. I mean, this week we'll have Jordan Lyle back.
Boys are hot. Them boys are hot.
We'll have JoJo and Jordan Lyle back. But this week, we shut down USF pretty fast to get in, get out. It was still one of those games where you're like, all right, guys, let's finish them off. But 49-12 speaks for itself.
Yeah, no, and like I say, again, similar to what Florida did, USF had trouble running the football against you guys. They didn't really run it against us. The guy who killed us was the quarterback run, and basically
2 yards.
You guys shut that down completely. Yep. Yeah, he might have thrown it for 274, but it was kind of I don't know, just junk. It was junk yards.
Yeah, yeah, 250. I think 250-yard passes, and then you mix in a 30-yard pass. Yeah, but 250 with only 12 points tells you they weren't getting in the end zone. So
no, that's what I'm saying. They did what we couldn't do. Buckle. Yeah. I mean, I guess they only scored 1 touchdown on us too. So it's not again, it was our offensive inefficiency last week, and basically the flip side of that is showed how much efficiency a competent quarterback like Carson Beck is, that you were able to do whatever you wanted. And then also on the flip side, you guys committed to the run and you ran it 38 times for 200 yards. So that's what you're supposed to do, but your offensive line is playing like the potential of what they were supposed to play, unlike Florida's.
The other thing is Carson has the autonomy to switch plays, change plays.
Right.
I've harped on that the other week. He couldn't do that at Georgia. Now he's able to get the team in better situations to where, with these young quarterbacks, you're like, you run the dang play. I call this play, you run it. I don't care what they're doing. But Carson's, doing a great job of, the second pick, he got hit. The offensive line, the one thing I expect Florida to probably steal from South Florida is some little delayed blitzes and blitzes up the middle on Brockermeyer, our center. He looked kind of shaky this past game. So the two points for a blitzing for Florida this week will be up the middle and Brockermeyer, and our left tackle, Markel Bell. He's a huge human being, but he's a little slower. So I expect probably Florida to come off with some corner blitzes on that. But other than that, like I say, I think the Canes did a great job of just moving the ball, getting in the end zone, getting Mark Fletcher rolling. Hopefully Jordan Lyle will be back healthy this week, him and JoJo. But, I don't know the status of CJ Daniels. He did get a little hurt at the end. I think the wind got knocked out of him, but he didn't play anymore. But I think we're loaded. And then to see Tony and Josh Moore, the 2 freshmen. Josh Moore with a huge catch on the second touchdown. Well, he had both touchdowns at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, like I say, Tony's been great. He's been he's looks awesome. But yeah, you're getting multiple guys involved.
Yep.
Getting Lyle back's big. Fletcher's obviously toting the rock. Like I say, it's like I said,
even
offense.
Sammy Brown, the third running back, who could be the second running back.
Yeah, for sure. And like I say, I remember him in the recruiting grade is like, man, I wouldn't mind getting that guy. But obviously, you want to go to the Canes instead of the Gators. But yeah, I just think that offensively, you guys are running at a high clip, and they played well against Notre Dame, who had a pretty good defense. I don't know though, Notre Dame's defense might be a little susceptible after the Texas A&M game, but I think again, Carson Beck, for all the intents purposes, for people almost having grief or like thinking that he's not good is just like are kind of stupid in my opinion, because Carson, it's not like Carson's been god awful. He didn't play great at certain times last year. He didn't get
But he
helped
didn't
out
have
at
he didn't
Georgia.
have a choice, but he was forcing the ball a lot of
Yeah.
times because guys were dropping it, and he was
Oh, for
trying to
sure.
make plays.
Yeah, you go back to the year before when he took over for Stetson, where they won the national title. He had a really good season, in my opinion, and did everything that needed to be done in that offense.
Yeah,
Because if you compare Shannon Dawson to Bobo and George, like they're totally different. Like
totally.
Dawson's gonna wing it, be way more aggressive.
Yeah,
Georgia is gonna play a lot more conservative. Yes, Kirby, or excuse me, Cristobal, he's
who
gonna want to
wants to
run the
be
football.
conservative? And
Yeah,
there
he
are
wants to run the.
times,
Well, like it kind of flipped last year. Like I said, it kind of flipped last year when you had a guy in the Ferrari of Cam Ward, and then you're like,
yeah,
okay, now you get another great portal piece at quarterback. Like I say, what's crazy is you're looking at some of these teams. Yeah, we can jump into that other game. The best game, obviously. Where I got the graphic up, I thought I'd do.
there was 2 good games
No,
we
there
could be
was,
talking about.
there was. But like, what I was going to say is before we talk about this one is how and this I think is the impatience that I have with Billy, and there's no excuse, and why I'm done with you. The way you can flip your roster and all that and your team just like that,
9 starters for
you
Tennessee on offense.
you should be able to do that
Yes,
and implement your system. I mean, and you look at these quarterbacks that we had question marks about, like a Joey Aguilar, Carson Beck, not so much. John Mateer going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma looks revived. Just some of these guys that go into getting new spaces, and you add a couple guys like Tommy Castellanos. That's a great marriage
yeah,
versus DJU. So I mean, it works out to where you got to have the right guy, obviously, but
yeah.
that's a part of it too. But if you're a high end program like a Florida, you shouldn't be waiting around to be like, oh, it's year 4. Let's no. Teams are flipping that junk quick. And on top of, like you say, you look at Miami. Like Miami had, Cam Ward had all the pieces in place last year. You
Just the
guys
defense didn't do it.
you tricked it off at the end, and now you've got the same team, and you've added some more pieces, and you look really solid in all the areas. And guess what? You added a gym at quarterback. And you don't have a bum at quarterback. Like, think about if you guys didn't hit the portal where you
Yeah,
did.
if we had Emory, if Emory was the starter, we could be 1 and 2.
Right.
We could
Just
be
that
1 and
quick.
2.
Like, not to say,
Yeah,
not to
we
take
would be
anything,
1 and 2.
not to take anything away from Emory because we don't know, but
Yeah,
hypothetically, you got Carson Beck, a guy was considered going into last year the first round pick, a Heisman candidate, all that stuff, and that's who you got. So like that's big. But you look at some of these other places like Tennessee. Tennessee shocked me in this game. Like
dude,
I'm
that
like,
offense is.
I was like when they came out and just those first 3 drives where they were just like it was like nothing but just like bing, 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 boom, right down the field. Georgia looked pretty good offensively as well. They matched them, and then
I
the
still
game.
got questions about the offense, but yeah, I'll let you
Yeah,
finish.
well, like I say, I think Gunner played pretty damn good. I mean, he was pretty
Yeah,
efficient.
yeah.
Like he still ran for almost 200 yards as well. The game was it was an awesome game.
Yeah.
Where where's the vintage Kirby defense? Where's Tennessee's defense? But again, this could be one of those one-off
Well,
games
that's
where
what
you get
happens
into
when
the
you just lose when you're Kirby and you lose guys.
yeah,
When you
no, for
lose
sure.
dudes, not just guys, dudes. And I think they didn't think Tennessee was going to bomb them the way they did to start that game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Tennessee, they hadn't really played anybody. They played, Syracuse that week 1 game, and then they played East Tennessee or whoever.
Yeah,
And
I think
scored
Kirby was
70.
just like, we're going to leave our corners on an island, and
Yeah,
I think my corners are better than your receivers.
Yeah, I think they didn't respect what Aguilar could do. And what's wild is the change of fortunes of those 2 quarterbacks from Nico to Joey to back and forth to like it's wild. That scenario is crazy for this kid to go from App State. I'm going to go to UCLA and be the starting quarterback. You have all the drama in the summertime with Tennessee and Nico. Nico thinks he's better than whatever. Tennessee says, good luck to you. They grab Joey from UCLA. Nico goes to UCLA. Now Tennessee's hot on fire, offensively looking good. And now UCLA just got their coach fired and Nico looks terrible. It's just crazy how that can happen.
But if you look back at last season at the Tennessee offense, and you look at the whole season in totality, he didn't do anything against any of the big boys, and even
No.
the smaller teams, he did all right. The
Yeah,
Ohio
but he
State
didn't like
game,
this kid was highly efficient, man. 24-36 for 371, man.
and he's throwing it downfield. We're not talking
4
about
tou yeah,
screens and
yeah,
dump
4
offs and
touchdown yeah, totally, 4 touchdown. Now he threw the 2 picks and,
right.
one of those was not so good, but, for the most part, like, that's the when you if I was to tell you, yeah, if the before the game, I'm be like, "Yeah, Aguilar's gonna go for over 350," you'd be like, "Nah, bro, I'm
Not
taking the."
against Georgia defense.
Exactly. So we both picked Georgia because we said I'll take Kirby versus
In the
Tennessee. I'll take
pedigree.
Kirby versus Aguilar, and it was a duke. They duked it
Well,
out, but
the
Georgia came out.
problem. Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
No, I was just saying Georgia came out on top. That was that was it. They outlasted them for sure.
Well, the problem is Tennessee. What I harped on earlier. Tennessee gets the turnover with like what was it, like 6 minutes left? I think it was the fumble right
Yeah,
there. If you got to say,
dude.
hey guys, we got to get in the
They
end zone.
dude, and I feel like that was Heupel, dude. I felt like
Yeah,
he got ultra conservative in that spot.
yeah.
You got to play it. You got Georgia on the ropes. Give him the knockout, dude, and like
Not just that. There's several
it's
demons going into this game. You hadn't scored touchdowns in them in like I don't know how many quarters. You're trying to stop an 8-game losing streak against them. You're at home, like you said. You get the turnover. Hey, I wouldn't have been mad if they took a couple shots at the end zone. They ended up with the field goal to go up 8, and you're feeling pretty good still.
and then
And
they missed the
then
field goal, bro. Mm.
I didn't even get to that, but
I know.
Georgia gets the ball back,
Yeah.
and then on a 4th down, you let Gunnar Stockton hit a nice fade ball to Humphreys in the corner of the end zone, and then they run a rub route, guys wide open. I can't remember if it was Bell or who it was to catch
Yeah,
the
the
2-point
2-point. Yeah.
conversion,
Yeah.
and then you're sitting
No,
there, you're like, all right,
he was
he was
wide
wide
open, dude.
open, but you're still sitting there, and you're like, all
Yeah.
right, we get the
Yeah.
ball back with a minute.
229. Yeah.
Or was it 229?
Yeah,
Yeah,
229.
that's right. They haven't our offense. And then you drive down the field, and then you're like, all right, we can get the field goal. Have you seen the fan reactions from in the stadium where they thought
Yeah.
they made the field goal?
Yeah.
Hilarious. But you a 43-yard field goal, 43 or 47, you're sitting there like, we got to make this. And the kid
Yeah.
just slides it to the right. And it's just
Yeah.
like, I know Joe didn't like my text message, and he was like, that's the text of the day. I'm like, but it's the truth though. To be the man, you got to beat the man. That it's
Totally.
just it is what it is.
Yeah. What here was the drive after they got the turnover, dude.
Mhm.
They killed themselves because they got a false start to start the drive.
Right.
So put them at 1st and 15. Then they ran it for 3 yards, ran it for 4 yards, ran it for 2 yards, and kicked the field goal. Like,
Just run it. I mean, just throw it at that
yeah,
point.
yeah, you gotta throw it on one of those
Well,
downs, dude.
the play call on the possession before on the touchdown, where I can't remember if it was a drag or a corner route with the tight end when the tight end scored, and it was like a high-low Georgia was playing, and he fit right behind the guy with Joey scrambling to the left, and he just dropped it over, and it was just
Yeah.
like, hey, you got to give Hypo credit. He knows how to dial up some plays. And in that moment, you got to say, we're going to take the dragon down. We got to slay the dragon. And you tell your boys, and before they go out on the field, like, let's get down the field, and we're going to
Mhm.
put them away to go up 10. Now the pressure's on them to score 10 points in the last 6 minutes.
Yeah. No, I guess what were your other thoughts on the other big games? What you liked and what you didn't like, what you saw, what surprised you?
Georgia Tech reminds me of an anaconda. They sit there, they wrap you up, and they just wait for you to make that wrong move, and they just squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and then before you know it, there's nothing you can do. The game is over. I think they did a really good job of containing Klubnik, and I think it might be over for him. It might be almost time for Dabo to move on from Cade Klubnik because the offense looks atrocious.
It's crazy, man. It's
It's
wild.
like, dude, you've been there 4 years and you're still making
I feel like he's been there
silly
5 years,
mistakes.
but yeah, yeah.
Silly mistakes like the fumble in the middle of the field. Like, come on. And I think Georgia Tech just, like I say, you can't make mistakes against them because they're not going to make that many mistakes. They're going to
Yeah.
run the football. The offensive line is going to block who they're supposed to block. The receivers are going to run the routes. And Haynes King is just that magician where You think he's going to run it, but then he just dumps it off. And then when you
Yeah,
think he's
man.
going to throw it, he just runs it. And then the defense is going to be Georgia Tech's. That's their calling
Yeah, they're
card.
playing good D. Like I
They're
say,
playing good D.
Haynes King's going to go for 300 total
Yep.
yards, and if he can get some help from like Jamal Haynes as that running back,
Yeah.
they could be really tough. But
Yeah.
yeah, he does enough off. They just do enough offensively to
That's
keep
it.
you soft balanced,
That's what I'm
and
saying.
they control the clock that way. They make
And
the
then
game tight. They play good D. Like I say, Georgia Tech, that was my surprise team in the
it
ACC.
was.
And now you look at that schedule, man. I'm looking at it right now. We talked about that Colorado game on the road week 1 would kind of be tough. They got out of there. And then, this early season test with a ranked opponent in Clemson. Now they get Temple, Wake, Virginia Tech, Duke, Syracuse, NC State, Boston College, Pitt, and Georgia. I know it's super early,
but you feel like you want to pencil them in.
Yeah, where are they not going to be the favorite?
In the ACC at least.
Yeah. They're not going to be favored against Georgia, but in all those other games, I think they're going to be favored. How do they play? How do they play being the favorite?
Yeah, but they'll give up one just because.
Probably
Haynes
so, but
King, which game? I'm not going to pick a game because it's the ACC, and I think Georgia Tech will give up one where Haynes King fumbles the ball at the wrong time because the game is close or he gets hurt or whatever. But they are one of the favorites to be in the final 2. If going off of that schedule you just said, how can you not?
Yeah, because they don't play FSU, they don't play you guys, they don't play Louisville. Like that's what I'm saying. Those
are perfect. But that's the problem with these imbalanced.
They don't even play. They don't even play SMU. They don't even play SMU.
Yeah. Did you see
their toughest? Yeah, that's crazy.
Did you see his record against ranked ACC opponents?
Who? Brent Key.
I can't think. Yeah, Brent Key. He's 7-1.
Nice.
Against
I love Brent Key.
Ranked ACC teams.
Dude, maybe we should hire Brent Key. Brent Key, you want to come to the SEC?
It's just people. I just think it's not aesthetically pleasing.
No, it's not.
It's and not. You got to have the right. You got to have the right guy at quarterback.
Here's the thing. I was about to say. That's what I'm saying. Do you think they're going to when Haynes King's gone? Do you think they're going to continue to try to run this style of offense, or will they adapt and run whatever their quarterback is? That's what I think too.
I think they'll adapt. And then the other game was the Texas A&M Notre Dame game. I thought that was a pretty good game. It's funny because after the game, all the sleuths went out there and figured out that CJ Carr was tipping plays. Did you see that?
No.
He was tipping plays. And when it was a run, his legs were off kilter. When it was a pass, he was even. His feet were even. So I guess they figured that out. But overall, it was a good game. And then it should have been a holding call on that last play.
Yeah.
The touchdown where the center tackled the D tackle.
On the flip side, too, if that guy makes the extra point, we're going to overtime, all that. Like it's, when you lose a game like that, that's tough for sure.
Yeah.
My other surprise pick was my upset pick. Vandy, baby.
Oh,
Vandy. Diego Pavia. He got hurt in that game, but I don't think he would have mattered the way Vandy was playing and the way they were playing. South Carolina, hey, if I could take any solace, is maybe South Carolina's not going to be as good as everybody thought they were going to be. Come on down here to the SEC basement with me, South Carolina. Even though I think they'll be fine, but if Sellers is out,
it's gonna be rough.
Especially looking at their. You talk about
they got a 4-game stretch.
No, they got
them in Oklahoma have two of the worst stretches in America.
It's unchanged. They got Missouri this week on the road. That'll be a tough game.
Yeah.
Then they get Kentucky. All right. Then they got at LSU, Oklahoma, Bama, at Ole Miss, at Texas A&M.
Yeah, they got a stretch in there that's bad.
Come on down here with us, Beamer.
You better get your wins these next 2 weeks.
Beamer, come on down here with us. Beamer
might
ball.
Get ugly.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Vandy played shit. Vandy. Here's the most critical game for Kalen DeBoer coming up in a couple weeks. When Vandy and Bama play, you cannot lose to Vandy again, buddy, or you might get you might get fired.
On the spot.
So
they may revoke his key access, to get back in the locker room.
Yeah, that game's in 2 weeks. Vandy gets 2 get-right games against Georgia State and Utah State, so they can't drop those games. Vandy's gonna be 5-0 going into that Bama game.
Those are basically practice games for them.
That's going to
get ready for the Alabama game.
Vandy should be ranked at that point.
rankings are dumb.
Yeah, it
The
doesn't
people,
matter. But anyway,
the people who rank teams are because 0-2 Notre Dame should not be in the top 25 anymore.
yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm trying to think who is down there in that. Missouri's down there, Notre Dame, USC.
Arizona State.
I'm trying to see who's gathering votes. Yeah, so I guess BYU, South Florida, South Carolina, Mississippi State, TCU, Arizona State. Those are all the teams that are like garnering, like should be ranked.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could see it. I mean, they dropped from.
I mean, I know why because they're looking at a loss to Miami that was close and a loss to Texas A&M that was close.
Yeah, no, for sure. They lost to two teams. They lost to two top 10 teams. That's tough.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, I guess we can move on. Was there anything else from last week?
No, I mean, big win for Rich Rod at West Virginia beating.
Yeah, that was a big win for.
So I think
Rich
they don't
Rod.
Play until another 6-7 years. I think it is.
I saw him on Pat Mac talking. Yeah, it was good stuff. Good stuff. All right, well let's jump into this real quick. I got the Canes, baby. Canes in a blowout. I'm done. What you got?
That's all you got?
No, here's what I got. Obviously, Vegas is doing the same thing they did to me last week and saying, I told you after the game, I'm like, man, tease this thing up to 14, 17, 20, whatever you want to do. Go up, bet the Canes 2 to 3 touchdown win. And I really haven't changed that opinion. I don't think we're going to do anything. I think DJ might play a little better. Now, the question, like we said before, is Billy going to ultra commit to the run and saying, all right, but here's the thing. Can we block you guys? Are we going to be able to run it? I don't think so. This is the best, probably the best run defense we're going to play all season, maybe, besides maybe Georgia, run defense. On top of, like we said, are we going to block Bain and Mesidor? No, I don't think we are. I think we're going to have a lot of trouble blocking those guys. What has DJ not been able to do well at all in the last hit downfield shots where maybe we could take advantage of your secondary who's playing a lot better?
Mm-hmm.
So on the flip side, our weakest link right now is the offense, like we said. So, and I think Miami's defense is really, really good. So where am I going to come up with points? We struggled obviously scoring against South Florida. We struggled scoring against LSU. LSU, really good defense. I would compare LSU and Miami's defense to be about the same. But where you're going to get the total flip for me is Miami's offense is way better than LSU's offense. Carson Beck's playing way better than Nussmeier. Your run game is very efficient right now, which you're still going to stick to that. And your receivers are making plays downfield. You're finding some new explosive guys. Carson Beck's throwing it downfield, so you got good balance. Yes, our defense is our calling card, but guess what? It's going to get mismatched this week because we're not going to be able to score, and we ain't going to be able to keep up either because we're going to eventually break down against a good offense. And I think Carson Beck, can he throw us a pick? Sure. But can we take advantage of it? I don't have any confidence in none of that. So will we play inspired? I thought we'd play inspired this past week. And yeah, the defense played well. But again, it's all now on my quarterback's shoulders. And I definitely don't have any confidence in the guy throwing the ball. I definitely don't have any confidence in the guy calling the plays for the guy to throw the ball. So yeah, I think Miami wins this game easily. I don't think sure, it might be a game early, maybe there's a mistake that happens or a big play, a busted play, like maybe the Jaden Paul play happens where, we get a guy wide open or something and it's 10-0 Gators. And then all of a sudden, I think the wave comes and I think Miami wins this game going away. Miami can easily score 24 to 27 points in this game and Florida ain't scoring that much. So you'll win 27-21 if we score 21. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's going to be a problem with Miami's offense against our D. Our D is definitely what we're leaning on, but South Florida's offense is trash. I watched it, and I watched you guys obliterate it. And LSU is eventually going to get exposed this year because of their offense of inefficiency. And to where you guys are clicking on all cylinders offensively, like I say, Shannon Dawson, he's the name.
I'll throw that in that. No, his name's been floating for.
I'll throw that in the Gator. I'll throw that in the Gator hat. Give me that offense. So
which is crazy is I would love to see Shannon Dawson with no reins. Like we kind of saw it last year,
Right.
but
Right.
Mario still had little reins on. Hey, right now we need to run the ball. Where Shannon just wants to go air raid. Going into
Yeah.
this game,
I don't see it.
I just feel like the Canes need to take advantage of a wounded duck right now and just take care of business offensively, run the football, be efficient running the football. I could see Florida kind of trying to load the box up to try to slow down the run game. Earlier, I said where Florida could take advantage of the Miami offensive line, and the Miami offense is blitzing up the middle and coming off the left side against Markel Bell. But I think long as Carson puts us in game situations, right plays, checking out, if he sees the heavy box, get a quick pass, run the football, don't turn the ball over. If he's going to turn the ball over, turn it over down in the red zone to where Florida's offense has to drive the field. Let's not give them the short field. On a turnover. So limit turnovers, run the football, be efficient. And when we have advantages of getting in the end zone, get in the end zone like we've been doing all year offensively. And defense, I expect maybe a lot of two-back sets on passing downs to slow down that blitz because I could see Florida trying to blitz a little bit more, like I said. So I'll see more two-backs. Defensively, hit DJ. Hit DJ. As much as I love Bain and Mesidor, I think the key to the game is going to be in the middle with the big boys. Justin Scott, Ahmad Moten, and David Blay, our defensive tackles. Can they generate enough pressure and can they slow down that running game? Because if Ball and Jackson get going, it could be a long day. But those guys are gonna have to step up and get upfield and stop those big backs before they get downfield. And then DJ's gonna test our secondary. No one's really tested the secondary so far this year. Notre Dame was kind of
DJ, like even though for DJ's 5 interceptions, he still definitely is the best capable quarterback that you guys have played for sure.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I mean, the guy can still throw it. It's just I just don't know where his confidence level's at. I don't know, that's a major issue for me. Like I don't have any confidence in him, know. So,
but I like the revamped secondary. What will the secondary do? I think bringing in Heatherman has been great. The defense has been communicating. They've been watching the games again. They have been flying to the ball. And probably the biggest advantage, I know people when they watch our podcast hate me saying this, is getting Hard Rock crazy. Getting that place electric, getting that place jumping. Because when Hard Rock is jumping, it's like the team feeds off of it. And you saw it in the Notre Dame game. And if the hatred's already there, not like Florida State, Miami, but Florida, Miami is still going to be one of those rivalry games that who knows the next time we're going to play after this week.
Right.
Especially with the SEC going to a 9-game schedule. So getting Hard Rock up and jumping and just making it one big party, get the club lights going. It might be a little weather down in that area for the game, but those are my keys to the game. And I think Miami wins like 28-14.
Hey, you thought LSU scored? You picked LSU to score like 35 last week. Your offense is way better than LSU.
I know. I'm crazy.
Y'all are going to win 41-17, just like last year.
Hey, man, you know me. I'll take it. I don't care if we win by 1. I just want this W. I want this W.
Yeah.
And
we were talking about it as like, give me this win. Like, just give me Florida State and Miami wins. I'll go 3. Give me that 3-9. I'll go 3-9. Just like you say.
Yeah, that's like you say.
And Billy gets fired still.
And I expect the guys to probably be flying around even more because we got a bye week next week.
Right.
What do you keep Carson upright? That's probably number 1 on the list is keeping Carson upright and Carson not throwing picks. That's 1 and 2. And the defense continue playing like you've played the first 3 games.
Yeah,
I know I want a little extra, but those are really the keys to the game.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think more so too of like when you look at what Miami. Again, we had a common opponent who you guys destroyed, where we struggled with in certain aspects. And then you played Notre Dame, who's one of the top teams. I mean, I know that we just talked about they dropping out of the top 25 or being at the bottom, 0-2, all that. But Notre Dame still is pretty damn good.
Be 1-1 against a good Texas A&M team.
Right, exactly.
So I do have a question. I don't know this one. I'm sure Dave will probably highlight it on tomorrow. Is Caleb Banks playing this week?
He's done, man.
He's done for the year?
broke his foot.
I knew it was a foot injury, but I didn't know how serious it was.
Yeah, so he's
So
yeah.
that's him and McCray that are done for the year.
McCray, I know he's out for a substantial amount of time.
Okay.
So yeah, no, having him back last week against LSU, that was nice. That was a good thing to have him back in the middle there. So yeah, having him immediately out for the rest of the year is a huge blow. I mean, but yeah, it's just one of those things of, well, it is what it is. Next man up mentality. But when you lose a guy who's projected to be a first round pick, possibly, or early round draft pick, and he comes back
could have
to
left. Yeah, exactly. Could have left last year.
And so that definitely hurts. Like, again, defensively, we've played really well, and I love, dude, the way Miles Graham is playing. Dude, he was playing like a man possessed. Linebacking core looks good, but even Cormani's playing really good at corner. The secondary's playing good. Like, again, it's just, I just don't think the balance of your offense of saying, okay, all right, what are we going to do? Stop to sell at the run first is what you first and foremost want to do. So if you slow that run game down, then yeah, I feel like Carson Beck can be an efficient quarterback.
And then you're not really throwing anything at Carson he hasn't seen yet.
That's what I'm saying. That's the other part about this too, is like Carson played in the SEC. He's played against the Gators. He's played against, Alabama. He's played against Texas. He's played these big time games. Like, this game doesn't affect him at all. Where you could be like, oh, Cam Ward's coming in,
that's the other thing is that I've loved so far this season. Carson looks like a totally different dude from when he's at Georgia. Like, he's having fun.
Yeah, he's letting celebrating. He's letting his hair down. Yeah, no, for sure.
He's letting his Florida swag come out.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Some of that U swag is rubbing off on him for sure.
I mean, even that Duval swag for
Ooh, yeah, no, for sure. I agree. And like I say,
that's fun.
That's a big proponent to being successful. Is like I say, you have fun while you're playing the game for sure. So like I totally. And again, he's not sorry. He's a highly effective quarterback. He's thrown interceptions or whatever and been limited in certain areas, but the big thing is, can we pressure him up? Exactly. Can we do that? Like, so the best thing like you said, okay, if we're slowing the run game down, can we speed him up? And like kind of like we did last year in that Florida Georgia game, we got after him a little bit and he threw a couple picks to us, So can he do that? Sure. He's that could happen. But, again,
take the sack. He just has to learn, like all these other young quarterbacks, even in the NFL, is you got to know when to take the sack, throw the ball away.
You don't have to throw it every time,
No.
Don't throw it in triple coverage.
No.
DJ. God dang, don't.
Yeah.
That pick he threw in the end zone, man. There's literally 4 white jerseys. I'm just like, what are you even looking at, bro?
Yeah, because even the one in the middle of the field where the safety just ran down like a robber coverage.
Yeah,
he saw blue.
I don't have any confidence.
Hey, I hope he keeps doing it this week. Give me 3 picks and maybe a pick 6 off of it.
Yeah, that's the over-under. Like, how many picks is DJ going to throw?
And like I say, I want Mesidor and Bain just coming off that edge and get some nice, clean, legal shots on them.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Faro's going to be joining me and Gator Dave tomorrow on Gators Breakdown. He's going to be the Miami Hurricanes insider, giving us all the juice that he just gave you here on today's Talking Ball podcast. He's going to do it again tomorrow and talk about how the Canes are going to annihilate the Gators with their.
Well, you did that for me before I even said anything.
There you go.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we're doing a little cross connection here, bringing L Train on Gators Breakdown to talk of Canes football, baby.
Yeah, too bad we couldn't bring Dave in, but he's at a concert.
Yeah,
metalhead.
He's Hook'em, Texas is what he's saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll talk about the other game, and then we cover the Florida State Seminoles playing the mighty Flashers of Kent State. Like, again, I don't think we need to talk about this when the line's 45 points.
Coming off a bye week. Keep the main thing. That's
ignore
the noise.
Yeah.
Ignore the noise that you're the number 7 team in.
Like I said, I literally told Steve, I'm like, man, you guys went from 10 to 7 and you didn't even have to play a game, man. That's crazy. Yeah. You're the numbers. Like, that is crazy. If I was to tell you at the beginning of the year, hey, Florida State will be ranked 7th by week 4,
you'd laughed my ass off.
You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were joking.
Yeah. I mean, that's Like I
Yeah,
say,
more power to them. They've come out and they've showed they're a different team than they were last year. Like I said, they had a bye week this week. Keep the main thing the main thing. We
I
really
get,
don't
dude,
need to even talk about
I get
this.
to
Like,
wear this shirt in 2 weeks too, man. Because
hey, I'm worried about this week.
trying to get some bad. I
I
can't
know.
wait to rep the Canes versus these guys, man, in 2 weeks, man.
No,
F
let's get
Florida
through.
State, man.
Let's get through this week
Y'all
first.
put Florida. Will y'all please put Florida State in their place, man? Put them back in
No,
their
I'm
place.
worried about the University of
Oh,
Florida of
y'all gotta
Gainesville
play.
first.
Y'all gotta play the Gators this week.
Yeah,
Man, that team stinks, man.
I hope so.
Yeah,
So
no, Florida State.
we could
Florida State's
we
gonna
could have
book it.
another couch session next week.
Yeah, yeah. I'll start charging
Me,
you.
I need to charge you. You're
That's
the
what I'm
one on
saying.
the couch.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have to start paying you. No, the Florida State should dominate
Yeah,
this game. They should do what they like. You say, let Tommy Castellanos do what he's been doing
yeah.
and get out of there, like we say, injury free.
Exactly. Tommy,
You
just
know,
be smart, get down, don't take any unnecessary shots,
yeah, they'll
get
start.
rid of the ball.
They start conference play next week against Virginia. We'll get more into the beef
Yeah.
of their schedule. Yeah, FSU should have no problem against Kent State. There's a couple other decent
Oh yeah.
games
Oh
this
yeah.
week that I'll have my eye on for sure, and they got it kind of layered where that big noon game is actually a pretty decent
Well, I was
game,
gonna say the team is weird. The years we talk about Utah, they just fizzle out. But
right?
the years no one says anything about Kyle and his boys,
Yeah,
they come under the radar and they just do work. And they have a big game at home against Texas Tech this week. They're a 3.5-point favorite. Can Dampier and the boys continue on the mission? And got that mission. In the Big 12, I'm intrigued to see this Utah offense that's kind of
yeah.
been revamped a little bit.
What's weird is I can't get a gauge on this game yet because both
Right,
teams, their 3 wins are like
right,
blowouts versus nobody.
exactly.
And so it's like who is fraud and who's not, or are they both really
Totally
good? And
agree.
I think they're both going to be pretty good, and I think that
Hmm.
makes for a good game. So Utah's getting that 3-point line because they're at home for sure. So it's always tough to play at Rice Eccles. I don't even have a lean in this game, like because again, I don't know if one of these teams is not as good as they are, you know. So
Yeah,
I'll just enjoy this one. You know, I'm going to sit that one out on the betting lines for sure. But both teams have come out hot as firecrackers. So,
hmm.
like you say, can Dampier be the guy to lead Utah? I mean, he's been
Because he
playing
looked
really
real.
good.
I know UCLA is bad, but
Yeah,
he
yeah,
looked really good against
yeah,
UCLA.
yeah. No, for sure. And I think part of that's what's completely turned me off is UCLA is really bad.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but
clearly
no,
they fired their coach.
but again, I definitely I like that big noon kick. The other one, there's a 3:30 game too. Oh yeah, the Oklahoma Auburn game.
Auburn. Yep.
I like
They got a nice little strike. I don't know if it
Boomers
starts with this
like
game.
Boomer Sooners are already up to number 11 in the country,
Well,
you
they
know?
got a 4-game stretch. I think what I saw earlier in the preseason, OU and South Carolina had some of the hardest stretches in college football to get through. I'm
Yeah.
sure you're
No,
probably looking at the schedule right
yeah,
now.
their stretch, we talked about it. They got Auburn obviously this week. Then they play Kent State. I guess everybody gets Kent State, you know, who
Mhm.
wants to get a layup game. But yeah, their stretch goes, they go Red River, then they go to South Carolina, who's coming off a loss. But then they got you still throw South Carolina. That's gonna be a tough game.
Mhm.
At Cocky. Is that Cocktober too? It's Cocktober, baby. So, you
Yep.
know, they go Red River at South Carolina, Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at Bama, Missouri, LSU. So yeah,
That's tough.
that's tough.
If they could get through that, I'm intrigued by the SEC and
Yeah,
who's
the
going to
thing
be
is,
that team.
can they go 9-3? Like I think we talked about this maybe in the preseason.
Yeah.
You know, they're a 9-3 team like the Gators. You know, we're talking about Gators go 9. Jesus, look at that thing, a pipe dream. The
Yeah.
Gators go 9-3. We're going to be in the playoff with our
Mhm.
schedule. Like
Right.
so, yeah. Looking at Oklahoma's schedule, if they were to go 9-3, I think we'd talk about their 3 losses, who they might be to. But 9-3 Oklahoma, I could make an argument for that schedule. You know, they played at Michigan, or you know, who was a top 15 team at that time. But yeah, I don't know who do you like in this game?
I'm a lean.
Jackson Arnold versus Money Mateer,
I
baby.
don't. Money Mateer. I'm leaning on Money Mateer just because of how they've been playing these last couple weeks. It seems like they're, and then the cohesion with him and his offensive coordinator coming.
Yeah,
So he's not learning a new offense. He's not learning the new play caller. His play caller from last year comes over with him. Can he keep the offense going? Because, like I say, we know Brent Venables' defense is going to be pretty good. Can he get the running game going? He is an extension of the run game. So, right now I'm going OU. I think OU is going to win that game.
I like Boomer Sooner too. The other 3:30 game, Michigan at Nebraska.
Man, two teams. I don't know what to think of Bryce Underwood. I throw out the two games that he had that were great. I mean, he played Central Michigan, and I forgot who week 1.
New Mexico
OU game. Was it OU they played?
Yeah, they played New Mexico week 1, and then they played Oklahoma week 2.
He didn't look too great against OU, but at the same time, Nebraska's defense are not world beaters.
Yeah.
And we're still trying to figure out if that guy could be himself or try to be like the guy in Kansas City. At some point, kids got to realize he's got to be himself and lead the Nebraska offense and stop trying to be Patrick Mahomes. So in this one, I probably would lean. I'm leaning Michigan, but more I expect this to be an under.
Huh? Yeah, I'm going Big Blue too. I think because like the week 1 against Cincinnati, that game, they very well could have lost that game.
Yeah,
they got to win. But then they played Akron and Houston Christian. You know what I'm saying? So I know Matt Rule was in the locker room yelling at those guys and blah 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 blah. But yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good game.
On the team you should have hung 60 on.
Yeah, I just.
It should be a good game, but
I think Underwood. I think Underwood is a special player. So if you go quarterback for quarterback, that's gonna be. Let's see who Raiola. Let's go.
I guess the only thing that made is Sherrod Moore back this week.
I don't think so.
I think So I mean, the guy, I can't think of the guy's name, the interim for right now. He has coaching experience. He was the guy at Charlotte that didn't wear sleeves.
Right. Bo, whatever his name is.
Yeah. So I mean, you got a guy making decisions that knows how to make big game decisions. With Sherrod Moore, I don't know if he was play calling so far this year, but I like I said, I lean Michigan.
Yeah. Let's see what else is intriguing.
You got Illinois at Indiana.
That's the opposite game of our game. Yeah, Illinois, the Fighting Illini at Indiana. So is Indiana the same Indiana team as last year? Is Illinois for real? This will be a good little test.
I think this game knocks out one of these two from the Big Ten race.
Yeah, probably.
Not saying I don't think either one of these teams are going to win the Big Ten, but you got to play this game, and the winner of this game stays in the Big Ten race. The loser is pretty much done because you still got to play one of the big three.
Yeah, and the crazy part too is looking at neither one of these teams have played a soul to start the season.
Yeah,
I guess Duke, that was a nice win against Duke. People were trying to talk upset talk when Illinois beat them, but
yeah,
it's great. Indiana's a 6.5 point favorite at home.
Yep.
I don't know. I might take the points in the Fighting Illini. The Fighting Joes, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other?
I got a couple other games on my list.
What you got? Those are all the games I had highlighted. I know you're going to throw in somebody like Louisiana Monroe and UTEP or something. No, I'm just playing.
Hey man, I like football. SMU TCU is always that undercover game because it's a big rival game. I think TCU may pull this one off, but we'll see. SMU hasn't been clicking on offense. The late game I'm going to watch when I get home from work. Sparty going out to the Coliseum to play SC. I'm intrigued by what USC looks like because I think as long as they keep winning,
they've been flying under the radar for sure,
100%. But I think if they could win, I was talking to Cooey about this the other night. If they could get through the season, probably 9-10 wins and keep that recruiting class they have, for this upcoming year, this 26 class, they're going to be loaded. How about my big man running that TD back last week?
Yeah, no, for sure.
That is a large individual.
Yeah, I'm looking at their schedule too. They got Sparty, obviously, and they're a 17.5 point favorite. So you expect them to win that game. Then they go to Illinois, which would be a tough game. Then they got Michigan and Notre Dame back to back. Those 3 games. And then 3 of those 4 on the road at Illinois, at Notre Dame, at Nebraska.
At least they're not in November.
Yeah. And then they close it out Northwestern, Iowa, and then all their games are tough on the road, tough at Oregon. So yeah, if you realistically say, okay, let's say they lose to Illinois, we'll say they split the Michigan Notre Dame game and they lose to Oregon. That's 9-3. That's 9-3. That's 9-3. You're going to the Holiday Bowl and you keep that recruiting class intact. And yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then another game.
I mean, who knows? Like I say, there's a lot of season to play, and
exactly.
Again, it's hard to gauge. It's hard to gauge.
We're just 3 weeks in.
Well, it's hard to gauge a team. We can kind of gauge what Miami and Florida and LSU look like because they've played people that are good. When USC's played Missouri State, Georgia Southern, and Purdue, I don't know if you're good or not. You know,
the reason why I say it so early. You remember what was it? It's either 2 years ago or 3 years ago where Arizona started off like 0-3 and they ran the table and they looked good. And both of us were thinking they could beat anyone in the country how they looked with Fafita and T-Mac on the heater they were on, and they won their bowl game. So it's like you could get hot after a slow start, but it just depends on your conference. It depends on your schedule. You know, that's just college football. You know, I got into this argument with someone the other day about it. It's like when there's 132 teams, you don't have to play everybody like the NFL. That's why you can't compare an NFL schedule versus a college schedule, because look at Indiana last year. They didn't play anybody. Their one game they played, they got beat, and they still got in the playoff because they didn't play anyone else. Last game I have before we get out of here is Syracuse at Clemson. The only reason why I got the Syracuse-Clemson game on there, I want to see how Clemson bounces back from a tough loss at Georgia Tech. And then on the flip side, can Syracuse, after having to run sprints after a game, can they get on a heater and start with, you know, you got the nation's leading passer on your team and then Jelly from Notre Dame last year. How do you know, contrasting of two situations, and how do they finish the rest of the way?
Yeah, no, like I say, Syracuse was, you know, I don't know. It's not like they were a faux pick this year because you're replacing who I thought was a pretty good quarterback in McCord. The schedule set up last year. He went on a run and you know, you wanted to kind of springboard it into this year to where you're like hoping that, you know, you're going to have a good season. And, you know, you obviously lose to, you know, Tennessee out the gate, but then you play, you know, whatever against UConn, you get Colgate. But yeah, so now if you're trying to springboard up, can you knock Clemson off? But Clemson's, like I say, that wounded animal. Like, look, Dabo, you can't lose another game, dude. And so this is a very interesting matchup because when you look at Clemson's schedule and, like, you know, where are they going to go from here? And it's in my opinion, the Georgia Tech game was one of those where, like I say, it was right time, right thing. All that worked out for Georgia Tech. You know, they didn't play well, obviously, against LSU week 1. But to me, you're better than Syracuse. You're better than North Carolina. You're better than Boston College. These are the games. You have the better personnel. You got the higher guys who are going to be drafted, all that stuff. So now you better go win these games, like against these teams. So we'll see if they can do that. But that's where you better go win these games. And then you can somewhat right the ship. Like, even going with 2 losses, you can somewhat still right this ship because you technically only have one, like we said, one conference loss. So you get Florida State down the line. That's going to be a big one. So that'll be, you know, again, where they fit in the ACC hierarchy as the season goes on. And it's, like I say, what's made it tougher is teams, you know, like Florida State, Miami, you know, being up there. So now, can they be that third team? And then do they knock Florida State off? You know, and then they get in there. So
yeah,
it's a long season, but yeah, I would expect Clemson to come back and win this game. But yeah, Syracuse has played tough, you know, and Fran Brown's trying to change the culture there. So definitely an interesting watch for sure. I'm with you.
That's the only reason why I'm intrigued by it. You know, I might take an eye on it just to look at it. You know, it should be a good week of games.
Yeah, we only care about one, and like I say, I know I'm about to be a loser again, so it is what it is. Florida Gators will be 1-3 after Saturday, and yeah, moving on to.
Like I said, I still think you're doing your Lou Holtz impersonation of, oh, look at us, we can't
look at the
can't get a first down.
They're so good. We can't. We throwing it, dude. That drive chart, man, was it was brutal, man. The Sarah McLachlan special from Josh Pate. It was glorious.
Yeah.
It's glorious.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, shout out to our guy, Sam Williams, in the
Sam the Spam, Grambling. Let's go.
Texas Southern Tigers.
Texas Southern. Yeah. The old Grambling, man. Texas Southern.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Sam the Spam. We love you, dog. Hopefully we'll pump out these episodes. Like I say, tomorrow we'll get another breakdown of the Canes on Gators breakdown with my man Dave Waters. So tune into that one. We'll send the link out for that one as well. But yeah, other than that, enjoy your college football this weekend. Enjoy the Gators and Canes. Enjoy the Noles waxing Kent State, Ricky and Steve. Enjoy that win.
Do they cover?
Ooh, 45.
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
That is a lot of points.
I think they will, but that's a lot of points.
They'll probably win like 56-7 the way they're scoring. I mean, it could be tight. Like I wouldn't touch it.
No, when you say tight, you mean can they cover 44?
Yeah, it might be 49-7,
Yeah,
and then they don't cover, But all right, my peoples, we appreciate y'all. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, holler at your boys, give me some comments, talk some trash, tell us we suck, tell us you hate the Gators, tell us you hate the Canes, tell us you hate the Noles. I don't care. Say F Texas, all that. But until the next episode, when we have another couch session of Florida losing to Miami, go Canes, go Gators. Let's go.
Let's go.
That needs to be the shot right there.
No.
Yeah, no.
I like the one you over the microphone.
Yeah.
Looking so sad.
I just don't. I'm so perplexed. I don't know what to do. All right, dog. I'll holler at you. It's time to go get on that virtual video game since even last week I lost to Faro in the.
No, you won.
No. I lost it. Well, we split.
Yeah,
I lost.
We split.
The Gators actually beat the Canes in virtual real life of 2027.
I'm still mad. That was some BS.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, we'll get on the virtual reality again because that's the only time where I can have control of my team other than Billy Napier calling plays. So
he's a great play caller.
Until then, run some play action, Billy. Sunbelt Billy. We'll holler at your boys and enjoy some college football. We out of this thing.